Hi there, I'm Lauren. I'm a conversion specialist here at Command C, and today we are talking about expanding into the international market for your e-commerce store. So you're going to learn a few of the opportunities and challenges, some things to consider, and see some examples of stores and how they are applying this to their websites. When it comes to opportunities, of course, the biggest one is more customers, more sales, more chance to grow your store and your revenue. It can also mean more distribution channels, even more chances to get into local retailers. You can also diversify risk. So now you have customers in many different regions. You could also diversify your supply chain and your distributors. And you'll also have more marketing channels. But that comes with challenges. So a reason a lot of people don't want to necessarily jump into expanding right away, you need to consider things like handling returns, shipping costs, taxes, selling when it comes to other countries' governments, different payment options, customer service. So you need to consider all of these and a lot more challenges before you jump into another market. But in this video, we are going to focus on those changes and how it applies to your website. We're going to focus mainly on Allbirds because they've done a really great job of expanding into a variety of different regions, and you'll see some of those examples. Here, we can see the navigation. If you're selling into many different stores, you need to make that clear and allow visitors to jump between those different regions, different currencies, different languages. Here, for example, on the homepage for Korea, the UK, and the US, Allbirds really varies the layout and the styling of the site. So they don't just take the site from the US and copy it to every country. They really take into consideration prototypical elements and ways that visitors navigate in different countries. So for example, Korea has the navigation down at the bottom, whereas UK and US have it at the top. The US has a search bar and Korea and the UK don't. But these all have in common the similar branding elements for Allbirds. These all feel like Allbirds stores. They don't feel like totally separate stores. Even if you can't read Korean, you can tell that this is an Allbirds store. So they really keep the branding cohesive, but they make the site feel very country specific. When it comes to country redirects, so what this means is, for example, here I went to the UK store, but Allbirds is able to see from my IP that I am in the US. So they have a pop-up here to redirect me to the US store so I have a better shopping experience. Allbirds also does a great job of having language-specific layouts. So for English, Spanish, French, languages like that, we read left to right, and we are typically used to having elements on the left side of the screen, as you can see here, but in other languages like Arabic, they are reading right to left. So we need to take that into consideration, and Allbirds does a great job of that. They also do it on desktop as well, as you can see here on the left, having the image gallery on the right, whereas in the US, in English, we have it here on the left. So something you need to really consider if you're going to sell in Japanese, Arabic, Chinese. How are you going to adapt your store to those particular languages, not just the translations, but also the layouts? You also need to consider regional payment options. So what are the most popular options for paying in those countries? It's not always going to just be Visa or MasterCard. They're also going to have different local versions of payments or local buy now, pay later. There might also be areas where people are used to doing bank transfers or payment upon delivery. So those are things you'll need to research. And lastly, take into consideration localized terms. So even if you're selling, for example, here in the US and the UK, both are in English, but you need to consider what language people use day to day. So in the US, often we're using the term sneakers, but in the UK, they are used to using the word trainers. So you'll need to do research into localized terms for the products you sell and for other copy that you're going to be using in different countries once you expand there. So these are just a few examples of things to consider when it comes to your website when you decide to expand. So not just translation, but localized terms, payment options. How are you going to adapt the store to the behaviors of that country's users? So just some things to think about, and I hope you learned something in this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.